Hi, I'm Christina and I'm with thepatricios.com. And it's so nice to see both of you. And I watched the movie last week and I have so many questions. So my first one is for Amanda. I'm a mother as well, and I have two children, and I'm just so curious, how were you able to act and connect with this character, Julie, who's filled with so much pain? And being a mother yourself, I'm just curious, like how difficult that was for you.
I think it was a lot easier to connect with Julie as that I was a new mom when we shot it. Actually, she was probably 2, my daughter. And but when I met with Amy Koppelman, who directed and wrote it, at first I think my daughter was only like 6 months old. So I I think it resonated so much deeper than it would have if I hadn't had a kid. But still, it's just so easy for anybody to really try to fall in love with Julie, because the way Amy wrote it was so accessible. And she was like it's like a friend that you just want to hold tight and you
Hmm.
want to help.
Yeah.
She's cool, and she is compassionate, and she's very much like Amy Koppelman herself.
Hmm.
And it was just important to me when I knew that this was something I could become a part of. I saw the passion in Amy and the compassion in her, and I want to tell stories about mothers. I want to tell stories about postpartum depression because it's a real thing, and it's just not there's no support for it still in
Yeah.
2021. There's just no support for mothers as soon as they leave the hospital, just for anybody not suffering from a mental illness or postpartum depression. Anyone who has a baby, the trauma
Yeah.
of giving birth,
Mhm.
and then the hormone dump afterwards, and then you have this tiny, tiny 8-pound
Mhm.
thing that needs you
Mhm.
to keep it alive. And as much help as you could possibly get at home, maybe your family's helping you or you have a nanny or whatever it is, you're still alone. You are still the sole person who has to feed this child some way or another.
Yeah.
Or, at first. And everybody's different, but we all have to give birth, right? People
Yeah.
that give birth have to give birth. You got to get the baby out. And that's traumatic in itself. So I just
Yeah.
I saw this as an opportunity to explore postpartum depression, which I did not suffer from myself. I'm on the other end of the spectrum, intense anxiety, but it's really all like it's all mental health, and the lack of care and the lack of infrastructure at the federal level for for mothers, we just not aren't considered once we leave. It's
Mm.
crazy, and I want to talk about it for as long as we need to talk about it until things change. And I also want people to know that what it 1 out of 5 women suffer from postpartum depression. Like, you'll know at 18 to 20 people who have suffered from it. And so
Mhm.
you can reach out, and you can, to reach out to your doctor. It's like the stigma is there, but can we knock it down? Because this is this is serious.
Definitely. Did either of you read the novel before taking on this role?
Yeah, it's a little different,
Yeah, it's different.
but
Yeah.
I think I took on the role before I read the novel, but
yeah.
it's different. I think Amy will admit, like, she was younger when she wrote it, and like comes from a kind of different perspective. And now I think in the I know for my character, for instance, in the novel, he's much more of a uh Upper West Side, like, uh, not snootier, but a little more pretentious,
But
I'd say.
busier.
Busier, he's
He's
more
busier.
self-involved.
Yeah.
And I think over time she kind of evolved the character to actually be much more empathetic and compassionate, and trying to be there for her and trying to be a real loving, supportive husband, um, but being kind of incapable, being kind of helpless in the face of what she's going
I
through.
think this version is more heartbreaking. We didn't have enough time
Yeah.
to tell this, book it with
Yeah, because it's not like you can say, "Oh,
yeah,
her husband's bad, so that's why she's suffering." It's like
but the essence of the book is
she's,
still there.
yeah, no, definitely.
But the relationship between Ethan and Julie is so much more
It's
heartbreaking
more
because
heartbreaking
there's
because the
nothing
illness kind
wrong
of takes
with
on its
them.
own life.
And then it
So,
shows people that, like, yeah, you can look like you have a perfect life. You live on the Upper West Side, and you have all these colors and beautiful wallpaper, and you have two
but it's still,
beautiful
yeah,
babies, and it's just like mental illness is not a joke. It festers and it
doesn't care.
grows and it doesn't care. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. The movie was beautiful. They're telling me I need a wrap. So just thank you so much for your
Happy
time.
Halloween.
I know. Thank
You
you.
can
Thank
like
you.
it.
I know. Thank you so much.